thanks everyone for dropping in today. So introductions, my name is Paul Munns. I'm the Corporate Account Manager with the Corporate Governance Institute, and my colleague Fergal O'Neill is here on the call as well. He's a senior consultant here as well. So myself and Fergal speak to current or aspiring directors every day about their career and where they're looking to go in relation to governance projects that they might be involved in, or expansion of current clients they might want to have, etc., etc. So we'll try to bring some of those insights into the call today. So really what we're trying to do is give people a broad overview of who we are, why we exist, what we're here to do, and you can ask plenty of questions and we'll answer them as honestly and transparently as we can. So I suppose just to set our mission statement out there, we've been built and set up for these mainly 3 points. We're looking to democratize the world of corporate governance. The boardroom is changing, and there's a lot of disruption at the boardroom table around the world. There's areas like ESG, digital transformation. There's things like COVID, geopolitical situations. So boards are under more pressure than ever before to become more agile. There's probably been globally a lack of secure professional training in the space, or lack of options, and certainly not as many options as there should be. So we're here to build an option that's available to a global base of potential delegates who might be on a board right now or looking to progress onto one. To do that, we've defined through a very structured syllabus and codified what it means to be a board director. So it's a code of practice that can be implemented anywhere in the world if you're on a board or looking to develop better governance systems in your current company or in your current territory that you exist in. Obviously, we have delegates from inside Europe, outside Europe. We revert back to common law and different areas of legislation, but a lot of what we teach is best practice, best process around the boardroom table. So just in terms of an education brand, a certification standard, I've worked for a long time in this space myself. It's very important that you let potential delegates know about your authority in the space, what gives you the right to call yourself a certification or a global certification standard. So our authority comes from 4 main places. Firstly, we've been set up by 2 individuals with very specialist areas of experience. David Duffy is a published governance expert. David has a global database of professionals that he's engaged and worked with over the past 30 years in a governance career, which help us form our faculty and our governance advisory council. So David brings a lot of industry knowledge into the setting up for our brand and our syllabus. He's our product leader too. Anthony Quigley is a specialist in education technology. We're obviously a modern day education brand. We use technology. We do a lot of online education and training. And Anthony's set up and grown a couple of other global standards. For reference point, if anyone wants to have a look, the Digital Marketing Institute is a good place to have a look. That now operates in over 100 countries and is a recognized standard in digital marketing, even as far as into the US market with the American Marketing Association. So they're the 2 co-founders. Our faculty is our practitioners, so we only use people to build our syllabus and deliver lectures and training who are proven practicing directors or non-exec directors or governance experts in certain areas. So they bring a lot of their current practice knowledge in a particular area into the classroom. And they more facilitate sessions. So our typical delegate is quite an experienced business professional with quite an extensive range of experience in areas of governance and business in general. Some might even be very experienced directors. So the classes, whether it's on demand or live, a lot of it is about facilitation and helping very experienced delegates get through to a final piece of certification with a lot of breakout discussions. So quite an experienced faculty, which you can see on our website. We have a governance advisory council. So again, when you're an industry standard, you have to get third-party validation in 2 areas, academic and industry. So the Governance Advisory Council are again a collection of experienced professionals in the area of governance from different parts of the world who meet twice a year. And really what they're here to do is to check on our current products that we have in play and that they're fit for purpose, and they are codifying what is good practice in corporate governance, and they meet industry scrutiny. They also give us guidance, and it's like a steering committee as to what products should we launch in the future. We'll show you some of the new products we've launched this month, and areas we might be launching in the future. So they give us a lot of guidance as to what are emerging topics for the modern day director. In terms of academic validation, it's also very important that you get an academic partner if you're a certification standard. Again, just to check your quality assurance process. So our partner is Glasgow Caledonian University. So what they've done is they've come in and looked at our syllabus, our exams, and how we manage delegates through from education to final certification. And they're happy to issue the professional diploma in corporate governance with us. Okay, so that they're our academic partner. It's very important for the integrity of what we do that you understand these touch points. So visually, to give people an idea of what we offer, our core offering, our flagship offering is a diploma in corporate governance, upon which people complete some exams and get certified. There's also professional membership access as part of the diploma package. And membership is designed to accommodate just-in-time training and CPD and help directors prove that they're maintaining their knowledge year on year in emerging governance topics that are, changing and quite disruptive. So that's our core offering. And we'll talk a little bit more about membership before we finish the session. So as a backdrop to, based on our research and talking to our governance advisory council and practitioners and looking at all developed or developing economies, taking the UK as an example, but this would replicate in a lot of territories of people who are practicing executive or non-exec directors. It would generally still be less than 10 or 11% of people, individuals on boards would have a formal qualification in corporate governance or formal director qualification. So a lot of practitioners are appointed onto boards based on their experience and what areas of expertise they might bring to the boardroom table, which is still very important, by the way. But the reason why non-exec or director or executive directors might take our program is very often they don't want to learn on the job. They'd like to be fully prepared for their first board appointment, or if they're already established, they want to learn how to become more efficient and protect themselves against any future changes that might be happening in different sectors. So with more, I suppose, there's more focus globally. Probably driven by the financial institutions of the world, hedge funds, investment funds, international banks, where capital comes from. There's a lot more interest from these organizations as to who is on a board, whether it's a large multinational PLC or a small, interesting startup that could become a really big organization, or small to medium enterprises. So often decisions to get capital into your business or investment are increasingly the people who lend and put money into companies are much more focused as to who's on your board, what's your governance architecture like, is there enough diversity on your board, diversity of skills, are you protected against the emerging boardroom topics like digital transformation and ESG, etc. So against that backdrop, that's where certification and training is becoming more important. It's why we exist. Just to give people a broad overview of the diploma, when many people on the call today may have already looked at the brochure and done their own research, so we won't spend too long going through every single module painstakingly. But if I was to break it up into sort of sections, obviously we have to prepare anyone who's around the boardroom table to understand the fundamentals of good governance. So we cover that off in the introductory area. Looking at case studies of where good and bad practices have happened in publicly available information, and talk through what led up to good or bad governance taking place. And then we look at the sort of the architecture, the governance handbook module, the reporting module. That's very much is the governance system well structured, well built in the organization or boards that you're on right now? Is there an up-to-date handbook governing everything that happens around the boardroom table and across the organization? And is reporting as efficient and as in-depth as it could and should be? So they're like the practicalities of it. Then we try to give people an understanding of what is the role of a director, which is really, really important, whether you're executive or non-exec director. It's a really practical module, understanding what are the pitfalls, what are your, what you have to look out for, what type of insurance should you have, and what are your roles and responsibilities, what are the risks to your own and personal reputation, how do you protect yourself? So it's really, really practical. We have a full non-executive director module also, which again, because a lot of individual delegates taking our program may be looking to build a non-exec director career in the future. So we give you a roadmap as to how to do that. And then we look at some specialist governance areas like risk, financial matters for the board, and how to evaluate the performance and strategy. So again, a lot of the experienced directors who teach on our program will always say one of the key attributes for a successful director is to be part of being, lending help or analysis or insights into a longer term strategy for an organization is really, really important. So we get a lot of executive SLT, senior leadership figures who take our program. They're obviously very good at strategy, but a lot of the time they're looking at an annual strategy and quarterly strategies, whereas at director level, it's trying to look at 3 to 5 year plans for the company and look at longer term disruptions that might be coming into the industry. So it's a slightly different strategic sort of question to look at. One quick question, or one question that comes up sometimes on the financial matters module. Obviously, we get delegates who have a very strong finance background. They could be accountants, or they've come from the financial services industry, and finance has been one of their core skills. That module is just a touch up for them, whereas some delegates may not come from a financial background. So the financial matters module is designed to take someone with minimal level of financial expertise, get them to a stage where they're comfortable reading company reports at the boardroom table, and giving good insights or asking good questions and understanding the answers. So again, we're trying to help people protect where they feel they might need some development and grow and enhance their strengths. So just to give people a flavor of the type of delegates who come onto our program, these are the individual business leaders that myself and Fergal will be speaking to on a daily basis in one-to-one consultations. Obviously, we get directors and non-exec directors. Some could be very, very experienced, or some are in their first, director role or first couple of director roles. So they're taking the program just to become better at in their current position. Sometimes it's maybe to expand their portfolio. And also they want to protect themselves against potential legislation or changes that might be happening in the industries upon which in which they are directors. So they like the security of getting a certification, and it's also like a de-risking for them in terms of if these emerging topics are becoming larger agenda items around the boardroom table, like ESG or digital transformation, cybersecurity, they want to take some training and feel protected against that. So the diploma and membership is like taking out some insurance or personal insurance for the directors that are practicing. We get a lot of C-level business leaders, CEOs, COOs, CFOs who are already at the boardroom table for the organization that they're an executive leader in. And they might be taking the program because they want to get more out of their boardroom interactions. They want to understand governance at a higher level. And they also have an eye on the future where maybe in the next 12 to 18 or 3 years, 12 to 18 months or 3 years or 5 years, they may want to transition into non-exec directorships. And this is a starting point for them. Okay, so that depends on the individual preference. One very specialist persona, and this can be somebody from a legal background, finance background. It could be the CFO. It could be a formal, fully trained company secretary. We do get company secretaries taking the qualification. Generally speaking, more mid-level to experienced level company secretaries who have been well trained, understanding the basics of what's involved in being a company secretary. And our program is just it's an expansion of their knowledge in the area of governance, and also might lead to them in the future transitioning into non-exec directorships as well. And the final persona it's broad. The best way to describe it would be governance leaders or aspiring directors. And that's individuals in an organization who have very, very specific governance roles and responsibilities. They may report directly or indirectly into the board on some governance matters. And they're just, again, looking to expand their governance experience and potentially take on more responsibilities in this space in their current organization, create new career opportunities, and all at a future point, maybe prepare themselves to become an aspiring director. As an example, a new area of governance that's growing and growing would be sustainable business, ESG, environmental, social governance. From our corporate clients, we're starting to see that there's business units now being formed in this space. So that's a gap through which individuals who are interested and knowledgeable in that space could build a pathway either directly or indirectly onto a board in the future. So just around some of the practicalities of the diploma, we'll cover off membership, and then we'll invite everyone. Please feel free to pop in any questions you'd like answered today from myself and Fergal. We have the course available in different formats, but the core syllabus is approximately 33 hours of learning. Pending your governance experience, some individuals may apply another 20 or 30 hours of extra reading, training, revising of the materials they've just studied. And when we do, everything we do is online. So we have live instructor-led on demand. We record everything so people can have a really good suite of revision options when they go to prepare for their exams. We've estimated that we've the balance, the depth of which a professional qualification and governance required, but also we don't try hold on to people in the classroom any longer than necessary. A lot of our delegates are very, very busy professionals juggling quite responsible senior roles in different organizations, and therefore they want to get trained in a fairly sharp, efficient way and a very practical way. Just some information on the exams, and again, people often have questions on the exams. The exams are online, they're multiple choice questions, and there's three of them. Exam 1 is based on module 1 to 5 of the program. Exam 2 is based on module 6 to 11, and exam 3 is based on case studies, 4 to 5 case studies that are taught out during the program. As I said, it's very flexible. We use an online platform called Cirrus. People take the exams essentially when they're ready to, after they've completed their learning and training, whichever format of the course they decide to take on. So just to give people an idea of the options, we do live online, where it's instructor-led. You study with a group of people on Zoom. It can be part-time, where you study one module a week across 11 weeks. And those times will be 6:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. GMT +1, I think now, is the actual with the time zone difference. So they're off GMT times. We do have people outside Europe taking the programs live because it fits in with their schedule, and they're happy to do so. We also do a very intensive 1-week boot camp, which again suits a certain type of learner who takes a week off work or has a week free where they want to study intensively for the week, and they'll go through from 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. With breaks. And then there's an option for people who want to study self-paced in a very flexible way across their own schedule, and that's an immersive experience with video, audio, and lots of written and research materials. Again, the exact same syllabus and exams, same outcomes. Every learner has up to 6 months to do their 3 exams, but depending on the format that you choose, there's a momentum to your learning. So for example, a bootcamp delegate is more likely to complete their 3 exams within a 4 to 6 to 8 week window period, because it's closer to their learning. They do the revision and they go do their exams. So again, everyone has 6 months, but it depends on the individual as to where they're at in terms of the training and the learning. So here's some upcoming dates. We've just finished our April 25th full-time program. We have May 24th, a part-time program coming up, and July 25th is a full-time boot camp. Online is ongoing. So every month we have a new cohort starting, a group of people will study on demand, and we have live dates available in September, October. You can just ask myself or Fergal after the session if you're interested in those dates too. So the last couple of slides, then we'll invite people to ask any questions they may have. So really, what are the steps? Firstly, we'd always encourage people to have a one-to-one consultation with myself or Fergal if they so wish to. Again, it's sometimes nice just to tease out what you'd like to get from any investment and qualification in this space, and we can refer back to some anecdotes or case studies that we've learned from speaking to professionals that might have a similar profile to you. 10% booking deposit secures your place in a future program, and the steps are: we'll issue you with a course ID, a booking invoice, and your membership access. You get 6 months membership as part of your diploma program, and the course fees are there, you can see in euros and sterling. So just the last couple of slides. I mentioned membership. It's a huge part of what we do. We already have quite a large resource library built up. So there's a lot of practical training resources in different formats. So there's a lot of video tutorials, there's practical governance documents that you can repurpose yourself for your own board. We do live masterclasses every 2 weeks where we invite our whole membership community to study online for 90 minutes. And there's a lot of networking goes on there with delegates from different parts of the world. It's really important to build your connections in this space. And it's good to meet faculty members too. So we also have a members directory. So in a sort of a quality sort of driven way, we would be looking at different recruitment companies that maybe specialize in appointing people or helping appoint directors on the boards, whether it's a clinical board or a board in a particular sector. So members who get certified have an option to make their certification available to these potential recruitment organizations who specialize in board recruitments. Again, it's just a nice little feature that we're developing because some people are looking for new appointments in the future. So just to finish off on our May offer, and I see one question coming through there, which is great. I'll answer that in a second. And please feel free, anyone else, to use the chat or the Q&A function. As I said earlier, with our Governance Advisory Council, we're always looking to build new products that reflect emerging topics. So we have new certifications out. These are shorter qualifications and courses. They're not a full diploma. They're all around 3.5 to 4 hours long, online, on demand. So again, these are emerging topics for directors. So anyone that chooses that the diploma is a good fit for them and they want to commit to a program at some point this year and book on a place, they can add one of these certifications to their diploma package. So the areas that we've launched these programs in is environmental social governance matters for the board, cybersecurity matters for the board, digital transformation matters for the board, and the role of an effective company secretary. Again, if it's too soon for people, we'll probably run this offer again. We've run it a few months this year already, so it's really up to yourself if you feel happy to proceed. It's nice to add this extra qualification to your full diploma. These are also seen as good CPD qualifications. So it's a less extensive exam, less extensive piece of learning, but it's an awareness piece around these emerging topics. So again, if these topics are reflective of where you feel your own governance career is going, or they're starting to come up as conversations in your company or the board that you're on or looking to get onto, it's good to pick one of these topics to learn. So look, hopefully that gives people a flavor of who we are, what we're here to do. I'm going to answer Rob's question first, and if people want to pop in any more questions into chat or Q&A, please feel free to do so. So Rob's question: I've done online training recently. How interactive is this course? In other words, is there opportunity to interact with trainers or other participants in case items need explanation or have questions? So very good question, Rob. Yeah, we have a mechanism through which you can interact, and I'll explain what they are. The on-demand access, you log into your own, it's a nicely laid out visual learning platform. It's got audio, video, different materials that you work through in your own time. We have some channels set up. For example, we use Slack as an interactive channel through which you can engage with course management team, your peers on the program, and have conversations that way. And then every 2 weeks, we run what we call governance masterclasses. So these are optional ways for the online learner, particularly the on-demand learner, to log in with another group of delegates from different parts of the world, follow through a governance case study and a particular governance topic. Normally lasts for about 90 minutes, an hour of learning, and then we leave 30 minutes for breakout and interaction and networking. Okay, so I probably can't overestimate how if you follow our page on LinkedIn and you see every couple of weeks or every couple of months, a batch of delegates will publish their certifications and link us in it. If you look at the people publishing their certifications, you'll see that they're quite experienced governance professionals. They want to make connections with other governance professionals in different parts of the world and learn from each other, and also maybe do business in the future. So it's very important that we sort of encapsulate that with the on-demand experience. So the answer is yes, Rob. We've tried to build in as much interactivity as you can, but it's optional for yourself as to how much interaction you want. Okay, I hope that answers your question. No problem, Rob. Does anyone else? Yeah, go ahead, Fergal. Jump in there.
No, if that interaction element as well is of significant importance. The 11-week program may be more conducive for that. There are live cohorts, and you're mixed with a group of different individuals, and you're meeting on one night per week. I think the next cohort is the 24th of May, and that's Tuesday night from 6:30 to 9:30. So that's a live cohort, so you have that interaction with the lecturers and your other delegates as well, which is quite useful for networking outside of the online on demand.
Yeah, it's a good point. And yeah, Rob, I know you're based in the UAE, so the time zone might not suit you. So yeah, the on demand might be the best option in that scenario. Has anyone else got any questions they'd like to ask around the product, who we are, the exams? Feel free to do so. We're in no rush to go, so feel free to get your questions answered now, or to book in a one-to-one with myself and Fergal. Sometimes a question that gets asked is, how long have we been around for, or how many people have taken the program? We're a relatively young certification brand, but we're probably reflective of what the market needs, which is shorter, industry-led, accessible qualification in corporate governance that has a global aspect to it. So as at the time of speaking to everyone right now, we have partners starting to launch in different parts of the world who are going to help us expand our alumni database. Up to now, we're approaching, I think, in the next few months, we'll hit the 500 certified delegate. So it's really substantial for one program to have that many learners in the last few years is quite an achievement. Satisfaction rate's very high. So we probably have about 97% satisfaction rates, which is huge, and 95% certification rates. So it's reflective of, it's a good quality product, and we've got good quality delegates, and I've enjoyed the experience so far. Alison, question for you. For the 11-week program, summer holidays coming up, what happens if you miss a week? Is it possible to catch up with a mop session? So yes, we record everything. Across the 11-week program, it will be normal that a delegate might miss 1 or 2 sessions. That can happen. You will get a full recording available to you the next day. So some people will just catch up and do the lecture in their own time. Generally, if you pick the live experience and you've picked it for certain reasons to suit your time zone and you want that interaction, we'd always say you're aiming for like 75-80% attendance rates. So you're getting to about 8 or 9 minimum of the modules for the live experience, and then you have the recordings for the 1 or 2 sessions that you might miss. The recorded modules are really important because some people like to engage themselves in the learning and the discussions that break out, and it saves having to take too many copious notes. You can always go back and watch a module with a cup of tea as part of your revision for the exams when the program even finishes. Okay. Rob, very good. So it's a global program, but there are significant differences in the maturity in different parts of the world, different local rules and regulation. What's your experience with the so-called emerging markets environments? So it's a good question, Rob. We have had senior governance professionals from different countries in Africa take the program. We've had people in MENA, and we've had one corporate client who has directors operating in different jurisdictions such as India, Turkey, Finland, and the UK, for example. So I suppose what everyone's trying to do, and what our program is, we've kept it general. We're trying to bring best practice, best process to a governance system, no matter where a board meets in the world. Obviously, there's different markets. Some will have be more emerging in terms of their governance standards, and some might be more advanced. But we're trying to help people put a standard in place. So it's things like, is the governance architecture good? Is it well built? Is it well structured based on best in class? Are the handbooks well built, well structured based on best in class? Is the report? So you can see that even though different jurisdictions may have more stringent or more lax regulation or legislation, it's still our course board or a director bring best practice into their organization, whatever the surrounding legislation or whatever level that might be at. We have a partner, for example, who just launched with us in Malta. They're a governance, they're quite a large governance consultancy organization, and governance legislation in Malta would be slightly looser in some areas based on their information than other parts of the EU. But again, the Maltese companies or companies based in Malta, they still want foreign direct investment. They still want to build their governance reputation. They still have, different industries that need to improve their governance. So that's where they'd be taking the program in there, where versus somebody might be working in the UK, where there's increasingly more stringent regulations in that govern boards in different industries or sectors. So that's been our experience. We've had delegates from 20 plus countries, but we've had a bigger percentage, obviously, because we're based in Europe. We probably have more European delegates, but that's been our experience thus far. I hope that answers your question. Go for Fergal.
So just maybe to address the company law approach also within various different jurisdictions. So the course itself will cover the key principles of company law in a common law countries. So these countries would be that have similar common law type structures would be UK, Australia, New Zealand, India, South Africa, Canada, Hong Kong, Singapore, in the Middle East as well. So the diploma, it enables existing or potential directors to be able to ask about their specific duties and responsibilities as a director under company law in any company law country. So that's probably our approach to the company law aspect of it in a global context. So we have codified exactly the best practice with corporate governance, and we're scaling it to a global audience.
Hope that broadly answered your question there, Rob. Anyone else got any other questions they'd like to ask us while we're here? We're happy to stay a bit longer. Thanks, Rob. Just on her. Yeah. And Rob, just like for clarity, we've just launched a strategic partnership across the MENA region with a company who have links to Stanton Chase and one or two other organizations. So again, they'd be quite knowledgeable of the governance ecosystem in areas like KSA, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, UAE, and they've just become our strategic partner in that territory. So it's just an example of the program. We have had some delegates, I think, from the UAE complete the program, possibly one person from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, but we haven't really focused on those markets. We're only starting to move into those markets now. I should also say, great, thanks, Rob. Yeah, lovely. We will record. We have recorded this session, so we will share a recording with everyone who attended today and registered. So we'll just give it another few minutes. If anyone else has any more questions, we're happy to answer them. Or if there's a question you're not comfortable asking in front of other individuals, you feel free just to reach out to myself or Fergal and book in a short consultation. We're happy to speak to you then. Thanks, Erica. Appreciate the feedback. So we'll probably end the session in the next minute or so. And thanks everyone who attended today. Thanks, Alison, Michael, Patrick, Rob, Fatiswa. Thank you as well. And we'll hopefully speak to you all soon. We'll send a summary email to everyone probably later on today with a copy of the recording. And feel free to reach out if any questions next week. Okay. Take care, everyone. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.